At exactly 2:17 UTC, the world lost 1 second. Atomic clocks in every laboratory London, Geneva, Tokyo froze in perfect unison. GPS satellites went dark, communication networks dropped, airplanes, heart monitors, even the rotation sensors inside your phone all paused. For exactly 1 second, everything stopped and then resumed, as if nothing had happened. Within minutes, the news spread worldwide.
We have breaking news to report tonight about a global time anomaly.
No explosion, no blackout, no warning, just silence. Physicists describe it as a perfect stillness, a global pause in motion itself. If you could somehow see it, the world would look frozen in crystal clarity, oceans turned to glass, birds suspended in midair. The ticking of every clock halted mid-sound. Even the light traveling from the sun would be stuck in transit. 1 second away from Earth. But here's the mystery: no one remembers it happening, and yet every measurement says it did. How could time itself just stop? If that second truly vanished, then so did every heartbeat, every breath, every fraction of energy in existence. So, what really happened in the second that didn't exist? And what does it mean for a universe built entirely on the flow of time? When scientists reviewed the data, they all said the same thing: the instruments didn't fail. They paused. Every atomic clock, every GPS satellite, even the oscillations inside quartz circuits all stopped counting for exactly 1 second. Not a glitch, not an error. A perfect, global stillness. If time truly stopped, everything built on motion would stop with it. Light would freeze halfway between the sun and Earth. Sound waves would halt in midair, their pressure locked like invisible sculpture. Wind, fire, water, every moving molecule suspended at once. You couldn't see it happen, because your eyes, too, would stop receiving light. The electrical signals inside your brain would cease, to you. It wouldn't feel like silence or darkness. It would feel like nothing at all, because awareness itself depends on the passage of time. From an outside perspective, if such a perspective could exist, the entire universe would look like a perfect photograph. A frozen image of reality at one exact instant, the position of every atom, every photon, every heartbeat, captured mid-flow. But there's a paradox here. If time stops, what does it mean for space? According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time and space are woven together into one structure: space-time. They cannot exist separately. If time halts, space collapses with it. Every distance, every separation between objects would lose meaning. The universe wouldn't just freeze, it would flatten. That's the impossible part. You can't pause one part of reality while the rest keeps going. Either everything moves, or nothing exists, still. The data from the global pause, as it's now called, refuses to go away. High-precision laser arrays in orbit recorded an unexplained discontinuity, a 1-second gap where no energy exchange occurred. The planet didn't rotate during that time. The moon's orbit didn't advance. Even Earth's magnetic field held completely steady. Then, exactly 1 second later, everything resumed, as if the universe had taken a breath and released it. In labs around the world, physicists try to model what that second might have looked like. They compare it to a computer freezing for a frame, a simulation halting to process data before continuing. Others propose that the universe experienced a quantum lock, a temporary collapse of causality where events could no longer progress. If that's true, it means the universe we live in isn't continuous at all. It's built from discrete frames, individual moments, stitched together fast enough to feel smooth, like the frames of a film. And during that missing second, the projector simply stopped. On a human scale, this idea is almost impossible to grasp. But if everything stopped, truly stopped, that means we didn't just lose time. We lost existence itself. All matter, all energy, all consciousness vanished into a zero state, then returned as if nothing had changed. And yet something might have. Some quantum detectors recorded faint noise immediately after the pause, random bursts of radiation, like static on an untuned channel. Others noticed atomic transitions that seemed slightly out of sync, as if the fundamental rhythm of the universe restarted a fraction of a beat off. It's as if the cosmic metronome hiccuped, and we're now living in a timeline that's just a little out of step with the one before. No one felt it. No one saw it. But something, somewhere, might have changed in that 1 second, a tiny shift in the code of reality itself. The question now isn't whether time can stop, it's whether it ever truly moves at all. Because if time can pause, even once, maybe it isn't a flowing river. Maybe it's a flickering light blinking faster than we can see. When the clock started ticking again, the world didn't notice. No flash of light, no thunder, no sudden chaos, just quiet. And yet, something subtle had changed. At first, it looked like a glitch in global timing systems, a 1 second mismatch in every digital clock on Earth. Air traffic controllers saw planes jump slightly off course. Satellite networks fell out of sync. In laboratories, lasers used for atomic calibration reported a missing pulse. But the deeper scientists looked, the stranger it got. That missing second didn't just exist on our machines. It was written into the fabric of reality itself. At the European Space Agency, the atomic clocks aboard GPS satellites, the most precise instruments humanity has ever built, all showed the same anomaly, a full second of non-activity. The universe, for that instant, had gone blank. When data came back online, there was no sign of energy loss, no thermal decay, no signal spike. It was like reality had pressed pause and resume with absolute perfection. Nothing moved out of place, nothing broke, but something else caught their attention. Gravitational wave detectors, buried deep underground, recorded a sudden silence. Not a dip in readings, total zero, a perfect absence of vibration, as though space-time itself had stopped stretching. Then, exactly 1 second later, the waves returned, unbroken, continuing as if they'd never paused. Physicists called it the still point. It was the first measurable proof that all motion depends on time's continuous flow. Without it, the universe isn't slow, it's non-existent. Across the globe, supercomputers started simulating the event. Some models suggested that when time halted, the quantum field, the invisible ocean of energy that fills all space, collapsed into uniformity. No fluctuations, no particles, no light. Then, when time restarted, it rippled back into motion like a pond recovering from a single drop. Others proposed something even wilder, that we never truly resumed. That everything we're experiencing now, every breath, every heartbeat, every second since, is happening in a new instance of reality, one infinitesimally shifted from the last. It sounds impossible, but so does a universe that can stop. In the days after the event, small irregularities began appearing. Atomic transitions in certain elements were measured as fractionally slower by about 1 part in a quadrillion. Lasers used to measure the speed of light began reporting readings off by less than a billionth of a second. Individually, meaningless; collectively, terrifying. If the constants of physics had shifted even slightly, it could mean that when the universe restarted, its rules weren't identical. Meanwhile, the world outside the labs kept moving, unaware. Planes flew, oceans churned, cities glowed. But something in the data whispered a quiet truth. This wasn't the exact same reality that had stopped. And while most people forgot about the lost second, the scientific community couldn't. Because there's a new question that no one wants to ask out loud. If time can stop once, what's stopping it from happening again? Could it happen tomorrow? Next year? Or has it already happened over and over and we just don't remember? Weeks pass. The world moves on, at least on the surface. Flights resume. Markets reopen. Clocks keep ticking. But in the labs, something's shifted, not just in data, but in perspective. Humanity has always believed in continuity, that 1 second naturally follows another. That time is a steady current carrying us forward. Now, that belief feels fragile. Scientists call the event the pause. To the public, it's a curiosity, a once-in-history oddity that trended for a few days before fading away. But to physicists, it's a scar on the map of reality. Because if the flow of time can stop once, it means it isn't fundamental, it's conditional. Something makes it move, and something made it stop. The implications ripple outward. At MIT, researchers build new time resolution detectors to track subatomic oscillations. Their results show faint irregularities, as though time itself is trembling, every few trillionths of a second. Quantum clocks flicker like a heartbeat skipping under stress. The data shouldn't exist, but it does. Philosophers begin to ask if time flows. What pushes it? Is the universe generating it? Or are we simply perceiving it, a cognitive illusion built by memory and prediction? If all processes depend on motion, and motion depends on time, then what if time depends on us noticing it? In psychology labs, strange side effects start showing up. After the pause, sleep cycles shift by milliseconds worldwide. Heart rhythms are marginally slower. Brainwave activity during REM sleep exhibits microgaps. Brief moments where electrical patterns simply drop out. It's as if the human body remembers that 1 second of nothing and keeps trying to recreate it. For theologians, the phenomenon splits belief systems in half. Some call it the blink of God, the instant in which creation paused to observe itself. Others see it as proof that existence is mechanical, that we're living in a simulation that can stall. But most people just feel something they can't describe, a subtle wrongness in the rhythm of things. The days feel slightly shorter, the nights quieter. Some say the world feels offbeat, like a song that's half a note behind. In art and culture, the pause becomes a metaphor. Painters depict frozen oceans and cities locked in mid-motion. Musicians compose tracks with missing beats, the sound of nothing, made audible. There's even a short film titled 1 Second Lost, where every frame except one has been removed. It wins awards for being the most accurate depiction of existence ever made. Meanwhile, physicists face a darker realization. If time truly froze, even for a moment, then entropy, the universal measure of disorder, also stopped. And that means the arrow of time, the direction everything moves toward chaos, isn't fixed. It can bend, stop, maybe even reverse. If entropy isn't guaranteed, then neither is aging, decay, death. Everything we think of as inevitable might simply depend on whether time feels like moving. Some scientists warn that another pause could be coming. The quantum flicker detected in recent experiments, that subtle pulse is increasing. Slowly, but consistently. If time is a field, they say, it might be oscillating, like a wave building toward a crest. Others dismiss it. They say it's all coincidence, random noise amplified by fear, but deep down, no one's sure anymore. Because every night, when the world gets quiet, you can almost feel it, that faint hesitation between seconds. A tiny breath between now and what comes next. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just your imagination. Or maybe time itself is remembering how to stop. Months turn into years, but the memory of that missing second never really fades. For scientists, it becomes a cornerstone of modern physics, an event so precise, so unexplainable, that it forces humanity to rethink what it means to exist in time, rather than with it. Before the pause, time was a background constant, invisible, unquestioned, as natural as breathing. Now, it feels fragile, conditional, like a system that must keep working for reality to hold together. At CERN, a team studying high-energy particle collisions notices something extraordinary. Every time two particles annihilate, releasing pure energy, there's a micro delay, a trillionth of a second gap where nothing measurable happens before the energy appears. It's too consistent to be random. Some physicists whisper that these micro pauses are smaller echoes of the global one, evidence that time itself stutters, like a flickering signal. If that's true, the universe doesn't flow at all, it's refreshing, like the frames of a movie played fast enough to seem continuous. Existence might just be snapshots, still images appearing one after another at unimaginable speed. We don't move through time. Time rebuilds the universe around us, moment by moment. The pause was simply the first time we noticed it miss a frame. Once that idea spreads, everything changes. Philosophy shifts from what is real to what persists between frames. Theology merges with quantum mechanics. Even art changes. Architects design buildings that look frozen mid-collapse. Painters capture movement that feels incomplete. The modern world becomes obsessed with the illusion of continuity. People start living differently, too. Productivity slows. Conversations stretch longer. Everyone feels, deep down, that time might stop again, so they begin treating every moment like it could be the last one that moves. Governments invest in temporal stability research. Satellites constantly monitor the oscillations of time fields, though no one agrees on what that means. Some claim they've found tiny distortions, rippling across space-time like micro-earthquakes. Others say it's paranoia, but the public fascination remains. Where were you when time stopped becomes a generational question the same way older eras remembered blackouts, wars, or moon landings. It becomes the event that defines this century, one perfect second of nothingness that changed how we understand everything. And beneath all the theories and debates lies a quieter truth. Humanity has learned humility. For all our clocks and calendars, we never controlled time, we just surfed its current. And when that current disappeared, even for a heartbeat, we realized how thin the line is between something and nothing. Maybe time didn't stop at all, maybe it just blinked. But if the universe can blink, that means it's aware, not conscious. Perhaps, but responsive, a system that can hesitate. And what if it hesitates again for 2 seconds, a minute, a year? Would it be the end or the beginning of something we can't yet imagine? No one knows. But one thought lingers in every lab, every observatory, every quiet moment when the world feels too still. What if time never really moves forward? What if it's always been restarting over and over and we just happen to notice it once? That single, vanished second didn't destroy reality, it revealed it. The world didn't end when time stopped. It simply started again. We measure our lives in seconds, tiny slices of motion stitched together into something we call time. But maybe that's the illusion. Maybe what we call the flow of time is just the universe rebuilding itself, frame by frame, faster than we can perceive. That missing second didn't break anything. It showed us how fragile everything is. It proved that reality can stop and start again without warning, without reason, without us even noticing. For one heartbeat of eternity, the laws of physics forgot to run. And when they resumed, the world was still here. But maybe not exactly the same world. Maybe that single pause was a reset. A reminder that everything we believe permanent, every orbit, every heartbeat, every breath only exists because time decides to keep moving. When time stopped, the universe didn't vanish, it waited, it held its breath, and in that stillness, we learned something no experiment could ever teach. We are not traveling through time, we are being carried by it. And if time can stop once, even for just 1 second, maybe it will again, maybe someday. We'll all pause together, not in fear, but in awe, realizing that what we call forever is nothing more than a moment the universe hasn't let go of yet. The clocks are still ticking, the seconds still pass. But somewhere, deep beneath the rhythm of it all, the universe remembers the moment it forgot to move. And maybe it's waiting to do it again.